Hi, welcome back for episode 2 of the Revolution approved podcast at the Wholistic Revolution, Downriver, Michigan, which we did not discuss last week. But first, I will say I am Jen. Hi.
And I am Ken.
And another thing we did not discuss last week in our complete enthusiasm, we'll say, is that we are husband and wife. We have been together since we were...
a long time, very long time.
We won't date ourselves. Very long time. We are married. We do have children, 3 boys. They are cutting copies, carbon copies. I don't know what a cutting copy is.
Yeah, big shout out to Riley and Hunter and Dylan out there.
Carbon copies.
Big shout out.
If there was any question whose genes they have,
Hey,
this guy.
it's okay.
That's
And I
all
also
right.
want to make mention very quickly that I don't want anyone to get the wrong impression. I'm 3/4 of the way broed out today with my hoodie on.
True.
The only thing I'm missing is the beanie hat because we are inside of a gym. So I just wanted to make that little note. And also make the note from last week that I was correct in my movie analogy. It was the Nutty Professor. My quote was from the Nutty Professor. Thank you, Tony Vance, for pointing that out from the Kapow cast. I was right.
I think you actually thought it was Coming to America, so you were
Maybe I did.
technically
but
wrong.
We'll have to
but
review the footage.
congratulations, you were right. Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know what Downriver, Michigan is, because we are a water state and there's waterways and rivers and lakes and everywhere
You got
you
a lot
look
of
is a
water.
little bit of water. We are actually about 20 minutes south of Detroit. So we are kind of right on Lake Erie. For anybody who doesn't know, look at the map, Michigan map. I don't know. Which way do you see? I don't know.
That way.
This way?
No, the other way.
This way.
Yeah.
Okay. We are technically here. Detroit is about here. Lake Erie's here. Lake Ontario.
Somebody's going to
Okay.
roast you on that.
Yeah, I guarantee it. It's fine. Technically, that's where we are in the mitten. Okay? We're down here.
The tiny hamlet of Wyandotte, Michigan.
Wyandotte. Go Bears.
In the
Big
house.
shout out. Okay, so we're back. Episode 2. We are here. Let's discuss something. Anything. What do you want to discuss?
I think we should go into, we kind of skipped over it in our haste to roast everyone last week.
Sorry.
We skipped over the fact that of who we are. That's what she said a little bit in the intro, that we're married, we've been together for eons, and have kids and all that. But as far as the professional credentialing of being a professional trainer, what makes you a professional trainer, Jen?
Ooh, that's a good question. I just very recently have taken the Westside Barbell Personal Training test and read the books and watched the videos and listened to podcasts, and I'm a member of the Conjugate Club. Yay, Conjugate Club. Go check it out. It's awesome. I mean, super, super invaluable resource. I passed the test all on my own. I did it. I'm certified. I can now train people with good conscience and know that I know what I'm talking about and why I'm talking about the things that I'm talking about, which is very, very important to us here at the Wholistic Revolution. We want to make sure that not only are we giving our clients a very good experience, but we know why. We're able to teach them why we're doing what we're doing and why, and so that if one day they decide to leave us, unfortunately, or they move away, they get a new job, they go to a new gym, something that fits their lifestyles better, they can take the information that we have taught them, hopefully, and they can continue their training in an optimal way so that they don't get hurt. Maybe they can pass information on, and everybody can be the better for it.
Yeah, I think that's important. There are no tricks up the sleeve, even though we both have on long sleeve shirts. There are no tricks up them. So it doesn't behoove, because a person, a client, I see a lot of training being done as trainer, as magician. I never let you in on any of the secrets that I hold in my hand. I never explain how to put together a program. I don't explain the variables in training that there are, which hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll get into a podcast about training variables, because I have a lot of things to say about that. But we throw all the cards out on the table here. So if a client has a why, we have an answer. And if we don't have an answer, we say honestly and openly, I don't know, which is
Sure.
hard for people to do nowadays. And
He says it a lot.
Thank you. We do our best. I pride myself on that. We do our best to get you the resources, or get them the resources available that will give them an answer to their question. So I have been a trainer now for almost 17 years. I look really young, but I have been in the game for a long time. I used to keep track of the hours that I worked, but
Countless at this
yeah,
point,
I don't anymore. We're way north of 30,000 total, because I thought it was fun to keep track. But 17 years, I've been certified as a professional trainer through various organizations. For that entire 17 years, I've been certified through Precision Nutrition as a nutrition coach for probably 3 years now, going on,
Yeah,
something like that.
At least.
So lots of book experience. I'm also certified through Westside Barbell, as in their Rule of 3 youth certification, as a matter of fact, sports certification. So we got the books, we got the under the bar experience, and you need both. I know lots of people who have lots of pieces of paper and they don't have anybody to train. And I know people who have no pieces of paper and they have lots of people to train.
Lots of people.
Right? So that's wisdom, knowledge plus experience. You need both. What do I think is more important? 60-40 experience.
I'd agree with that.
I'd say
I'd agree with that.
60-40. And maybe I'm being a little bit generous because I don't want to get flamed super hard. But I think that experience can go a long way. And you got to pick up things along the way. So, and I have been fortunate to be in some phenomenal training environments, whether it be growing up just starting out, going through competing and bodybuilding and powerlifting and running and things like that, to pick up a lot of great notes along the way. So
Sure.
that's my professional background.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of knowledge here. I like to think. If not, we certainly will go out of our way to find an answer, the correct answer. Maybe numerous correct answers, because a lot of things can be done in numerous ways. And we're not too egotistical, if you will, to say that we are wrong, or maybe we don't know, or let's find out. But let's do it.
That's a very good point,
Figure
because
it out.
not to interrupt you, even though I just interrupted you. That's a very good point. You cannot, as Louis Simmons says, you cannot be afraid to fail.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be afraid to look stupid. You cannot be afraid to try new things, because that's how breakthroughs occur. There's equipment in this gym right now that no one else in our area has.
Yep.
I'm sure there are some people out there that think that that's dumb. Okay?
Yep.
Why don't you have rows and rows and rows of electromagnetic treadmills?
Yep.
We're not into that. We do things a little bit different, but all the equipment has been picked because it serves a particular purpose with the clientele we have. So you cannot be afraid to throw yourself out there on a limb. And it's very interesting. I was having a discussion with a client today about that, because I think that it's Western society. We're very analytical. And I think the piece of paper thing, the credential thing, although it is needed, we have to remember that the credential is just the minimum requirement.
Yes,
So just because you have a teaching certificate does not make you a good teacher.
correct.
It means that you're certified to teach, which means you met the minimum requirement. So, or if you're in medical school, there was a top guy in medical school, and then there was a guy on the very bottom.
They got the same certificate.
They got the
didn't
same
they?
exactly,
Yeah.
right? So I think that,
Yeah.
and speaking on that, from the ills that we have in our society today, so type 2 diabetes, depression, anxiety, cancer, run amok, so on and so forth, we have more pieces of paper and more people in outfits and get-ups like lab coats and polos and khakis and warm-up suits than we've ever had before in human history. So more doctors, more therapists, more physical therapists, more dietitians, more nutritionists, more trainers, more wellness coaches, more so on and so on and so on, more than ever before recorded in human
Sure.
history, and we are worse off than we have ever been.
Sure, society is sicker than we've ever been in history.
Ever been. So I don't necessarily know if a piece of paper, another one, is what we need. But that might be another topic for a different day.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we made our stance, I think, last episode, that just because you have a degree doesn't make you any better. We certainly both agree that it doesn't. We have been in contact, or at least have been acquainted with people with their own levels of degrees or schooling, and they couldn't take the garbage out. I mean, it's just and that's not everybody, right? It's not to say everybody who has a piece of paper is like that. Certainly not, of course. But, be careful. Just because somebody does have something hanging on their wall, or they have, a bunch of initials next to their name, doesn't necessarily mean that they know how and when and why
Yes.
to do what they're doing.
That's a great
right?
point. And to kind of piggyback on that, that is not to say that the other opposite way of not having anything and basking in my
True.
nothingness is going to get you that way either.
Sure.
There's a lot of people who have an aunt out there that's into working out, and she read something in Woman's World. We all have an aunt or a mom or a sister or someone
Yeah.
else who, just by proxy,
Yeah.
thinks that they're an expert on things when they,
I saw this on a talk show on TV.
I saw it on Dr. Oz, which Dr. Oz I don't think is that popular anymore.
Oh, I can't speak
Because I
to
don't hear that
know.
anymore. But that's the thing. So all the way to the far side, tons and tons of pieces of paper now. Do I have tons and tons of pieces of paper on the wall? Yeah, I do. Partly because I think it's funny. Because you only have one.
Yeah,
So
I
think-
have one, and
so
it's
I-
shrunken down.
So
this
I think
big.
so I think that's funny. But that doesn't mean necessarily that I hold myself in any higher esteem than somebody who is just starting out.
Yeah.
We put everybody on an equal playing field, and I think the biggest thing at the end of the day is regardless of whatever qualifying measure you use, are you getting results with what you're trying to do? That's the biggest key. Is at the end of the day, the results for the individuals that we are working with.
Correct. I think that's kind of the big thing, is make sure any person or professional that you're working with meets you where you're at and can direct you where you need to go for you, not for them, not for their practice, not for their gym, not for their facility, not for their ego, but for you and what works for you.
Yeah, because right now in the United States, I think you might agree that we are in the throes, and we have been for a while. It's kind of fading because people just can't. The energy level is so low that people can't handle it. But we have been in the throes for a good, almost going on 10 years now, of what I would like to call the death by exercise trend. So through no skill level of my own, or maybe a little bit of skill level, I'm just going to make something as brutally hard as I possibly can.
Sure.
And then that's good because Americans like to be weighed down with busy work.
But I like my extreme booty, so I don't care.
Well, you can, and I do too. But at the same time, that isn't not necessarily going to work forever and ever and ever. So there's things that you have to balance, and I think that just because we brought up a lot of points last week about cleanliness of the facility,
Yeah.
intake questionnaire, so on and so forth. But I think one thing that I want to get across this week is that just because something is hard doesn't make it good.
Good.
Right? Because
Agreed.
I mean,
Completely
it would
agree,
take
yeah.
if she just said, "Hey, get down on the ground and do 100 push-ups." Well, that would be really hard.
Yeah.
But that didn't mean that it took her any skill level whatsoever to say that. She just pulled it out of her ass.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to look at it in three ways. in America right now in 2018, you have to balance, people have to be balancing stress and recovery.
Yep.
Okay, so what energy you have going out,
A lot of stress.
and what
Lot of
energy,
stress
and
in
what
America
do you
right now.
have coming in? So there has to be balance. Go too far to one side for too long, you're going to run into a problem.
You're
So
out of balance,
you're
right?
out- yeah.
Your scale is
Yeah.
off.
So like if you looked at, I always use a political example for that, and I know that that's heat-seeking in and of itself, but if you look at it on a spectrum, you have 1/4 or 20% of America is on the far left, and 20% is on the far right. Okay, so the far left, politically, the farthest left you can go is, to give you a political science lesson now, would be communism. Okay, so those people in that ideology, not saying it based off the political ideology, but just thinking about it, 20% of the population needs to move. They got to get off their ass. They're too sedentary. Okay, 20% of the population on the other side is so frazzled and freaked out and out of their mind with stress that they need to go take a nap.
They need to relax.
So
yeah.
more movement for them will end up in a negative result, just like this polar opposite side, too little movement for them has ended up in a negative result. And then you have the 60% or so in the middle that they stray too far to the left, bad stuff happens. Stray too far to the right, bad stuff happens. So you have to balance stress and recovery.
Sure.
It's not, and again, to be hypercritical of the fitness industry, the only card that the fitness industry ever plays is more movement. So you didn't get where you were just because you didn't work out hard enough. It's not enough days. So now we got 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 6 days a week, twice a day, 6 days a week, twice a day for an hour and a half each time, 6 days, twice a day for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then we do this, then we do that, and and next thing you know, we have people coming to us who are exercising in excess of 20 plus hours a week.
And we tend to bring them down depending on where they're at, down to maybe 1 day a week, maybe just twice a week, and they lose their minds.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
How is that possible that I'm getting better or more results doing half or 3/4 as less than I was doing before? Well, we're trying to put you back in balance, and your body is going, oh, thank goodness I needed that rest to digest this food. Oh, thank goodness I got some sleep, so now I can put the water where it needs to go. Oh, thank goodness you turn the brain off for 5 minutes and let me absorb everything you've given me, so now I can do what needs to be done.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and I think that if you don't have those, you run into the red. This is why most people who engage in those ass kicker, death by exercise programs, they do not thrive, they simply survive.
Sure.
So when you get to day 90, when it's a 90-day program, and what do you do on day 91? This is why the only answer to the exercise tape phenomenon is to make the tape harder.
Or to make new tapes.
To make new tapes and make new tapes harder. So you got P90X, you got Insanity. The next one will be called death. It'll be called death because you'll die. It'll be like you're gonna die, but you'll look good in the box, so then you'll be happy, right? So it's this thing where we're seeing this massive increase in work. There's also not a correlatable massive increase in recovery principles. So the thing is swayed or teeter-tottered so out of balance that here comes the migraine, here comes the knee pain,
Yep.
here comes the digestive problems as a way of your body saying, how can I get this person to just simply quit?
Sure.
So that way when they quit, they'll give us a break.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, the human body is a phenomenal machine, right? It knows how to function. It knows what it needs. It knows what it doesn't need. So when you go and drink too much, your body doesn't need that. What does it do? It gets rid of it. When you eat a bunch of garbage, what does your body do? It gets rid of it, right? So if you just let your body tell you what it needs, if you can just turn off for 2 minutes and just relax and take in your surroundings and listen to your body and decide, what do you need today? Maybe your body says, you know what, I'm really tired. I would like to just sit down for 5 minutes. Or maybe you go, you know what, I feel pretty good today. I think I'm gonna go work out. Okay, that's your body saying it's ready to work out. Or whatever your body wants to tell you. As long as you're open to listening to it, it will tell you what you need.
Yeah, because, I mean, think of the word work out. You're carving out internal energy to pick stuff up and set it down.
Yes.
Or go run or whatever, right?
Yes,
So,
working out. You're
yeah,
releasing
out,
something.
right? So you can't leave a gym with more physical energy than you
Correct.
left,
Right.
than you had when you started. Okay?
Unless you do a restorative workout,
yes,
which
okay.
is now, again, that's not a workout though. We call that more of a work in.
Yes,
So you're maybe doing some stretching. You're maybe doing some, maybe some mace work, maybe some light Indian club work, maybe some medicine ball work. Maybe you're just doing, some yoga or some stretching, and you're kind of allowing your body to work in a little bit, so then you can leave feeling a little bit rejuvenated, a little bit revived, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, you figure it's 2018, and Paul Chek is the man who came up with that principle of working in versus working out. He talks,
Sure.
that's about 20 years old by now. But it stood the test of time because you cannot give what you don't have. So everybody's going to join the gym on January 1st, New Year's resolution, baby. All right, we're going to come in and they're going to go balls to the wall. And the industry research says that they will last approximately 6 weeks. So if you belong to a big box gym, fortunately or unfortunately,
Yep.
for you, everything's going to be crowded till about the second week of February. Now, why would these people quit? They made it up in their mind. They got a New Year's resolution. I'm going to lose 100 pounds. I'm going to quit being a couch potato. I'm going to do whatever, right? They take it from 0 to 60 in 2 weeks. So they take what should the stimuli that would have taken a year and a half to acquire, and they spend it all in 2 weeks. They take their body from 0 to 60, and their body's going, what the hell? How can I get Jen to quit? Because she's going to kill us. Because your body, I got news for you, is not concerned whatsoever with aesthetics. That is a human-made thing. Your body thinks in terms of survival, and it thinks in terms of movement.
Fight or flight.
Yeah. So you kick it up to 11, spinal tap style, and your knee starts to hurt. You get a migraine. You get low back pain. Your neck. You just can't sleep at night. So your body puts you into a position where it makes you make the call. Now, if you ignore those signals for long enough, and you run in the red for long enough, then now you see these situations where people are approaching catastrophic failures, catastrophic lifestyle management failures. So Dr. Frank Lipman, various people have talked about, Paul Chek would be another one. Cancer is something that takes about 10 years to get. So that's 10 years of mismanagement, lifestyle-wise. Okay, broken back, broken leg, broken, severe debilitating migraine, so on and so forth, of this massive outpouring of energy with no other, no good energy in the form of food, water, or sleep coming in.
Your knee didn't just get blown out doing your squats one day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taken numerous times of mismanagement on that knee or on your hip or on your ankle for your knee to go, whoa, something's not right.
Yeah.
It wasn't the workout I did yesterday, oh man, it blew my knee out, and now I need to go talk to a specialist about getting whatever.
Yeah, so now, and that's a good point now. So now you bring in, taking it from a movement perspective. So the second thing would be, you have stress and recovery, so how am I gonna balance that, okay? Then you talk about capacity versus demand. So what is the actual capacity? My capacity, my tissue's capacity to be loaded, that would be like exercise, okay? Versus what am I trying to get out of it? What's the demand? Now, as you stated earlier, the body will adapt to whatever demands you place upon it. That's called the SAID principle, specific adaptation to impose demand, okay? So you can do shit that would keel a horse over, okay? That doesn't necessarily mean that it's good to do, right?
Or you should,
So if you operate in zones that the demand is way higher than the capacity for long enough, that's when you're going to experience those failures. So intensity, going back to what we talked about earlier about the death by exercise.
Ooh, bringing it full circle.
Full circle, 360 degrees.
Planned it.
That does not mean, you totally just threw me off right there with your nonsense, and I'm trying to be serious and scientific. That doesn't mean intensity for intensity's sake is the road to ruin. Okay, you have to have a plan, as has been stated thousands and thousands of times, at least inside this facility. If you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail.
Yep.
So you have to monitor these things. You have to do the things and support the structures that you're trying to get the most out of. So not drinking any water, being dehydrated, bad idea. Food problems, bad idea. You want to do a lot of endurance-based activity, a lot of running. We like to pick on runners in here because they're so easy to pick on. But you want to do a lot of that, but then you don't want to do any work to support the tendons and ligaments and the structures that help you to be able to run.
Definitely.
You are going to have a problem. And this has been elicited by the fact that anytime you ask a runner or a former runner why they don't run anymore, very rarely will you hear, I didn't like it anymore. You'll get the, oh my knee, oh my neck, oh my back, bat.
Yep.
That's a capacity and demand issue. So you have all these things going into the new year because people are going to be setting up those resolutions and they are going to be setting up the time to change, and it's good. Wanting to change.
Let's hope they do.
Yes, the first step is recognizing the fact that you have something that you need to change. So you got to be aware of it first.
There you
So
go.
that's good. Hey, going to the gym is good. We're at such a piss poor state of affairs in this country that any movement, realistically, we get asked that question all the time. What do you think about Zumba? What do you think about cardio drumming? What do you think about cat exercising, doing curls with your cat at home? What do you think about whatever?
Never heard that.
And we would say, yeah, there's video. Check it out on YouTube. There's lots of stuff out there, and we're at such a sorry state of affairs that any movement is good movement.
Sure.
Going for a walk is good movement. We've had clientele that I've dealt with in the past that were so frazzled out, so far to that right side of the equation that their conditioning program consisted of parking their car in the last space in the parking
It's a
lot
great idea.
and walking in.
It's a great idea.
Because that was all that they could handle. And then we built up from there. So it's like algebra, okay? And whatever you got to do on the right side, you got to do to the left side. So you can't have, yeah, you
Nice-
like that?
nice-
You like
nice
that?
analogy.
So
It's nice.
you can't have a phenomenal uptake in workload and then not have an uptick in calories. Oh, did he just tell people to eat more? Woo! Yeah, right? So, exactly. So, you can't do that. You can't have a phenomenal uptick in critical thinking. The things that cost you energy, breathing, thinking, moving. You can't have phenomenal upticks in those without phenomenal upticks in the strategies that are going to help you to recover from that.
Yeah, there's that
So-
balance again.
So it comes back to balance. And the people who win in the long run, who have lifetimes of not having their knees hurt, being able to go out and do the things that they want to do, as we would call it, live their fitness, they adhere to those strategies, and they adhere to those strategies for the long haul. And when they get out of balance, they understand that they're out of balance, and they do things to right the ship.
Yeah.
So you brought it up earlier, but like viewing exercise as play, okay, that's one of the reasons why our kids like exercise, is because they simply view it as play. They don't view it as a chore like an adult would, okay?
Yeah.
So going from there and saying, all right, what do I have to do on each individual day? Is it a rest day? Is it I kind of feel like crap today, but you know what, I'm going to go out and I start slow. Or is it you know what, I'm raring to go, I had the weekend off, I got 2 full days of good rest, I'm raring to have a hard workout today.
Yeah.
And then going into it, being prepared and having a plan and doing what you need to do.
Yep, just find that balance. Finding and keeping that balance. I think that's the biggest trick, right? Is if you're in balance, you know, daily, weekly, monthly, you keep yourself in balance, the weight is gonna even itself out, the aches and pains are gonna even themselves out. You know, hopefully you're not gonna find yourself sick every 2 days. You know, keeping that balance, your body will do the rest. It really will.
Yes, it has been, it is smarter than you, period, point blank, okay?
True.
So lean on your body, it won't give you the wrong answers. And I think to maybe put a pin in this one and summarize it, all we do as trainers, or all I have done for a really long time, is people walk around with the big, irritatingly huge headphones on, right?
I like them.
Well, when I started, we listened to a radio.
Yeah, but
And then, yeah, and then if you did,
Old.
yeah, yes, I am old. Okay, you've revealed it to the world now.
I prefer the big ones.
Well, because if you had to be able to talk to people, because there was that thing called human
Oh,
communication.
yeah, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There wasn't Instagram yet.
2018, we don't.
Yeah,
we don't
there
have
wasn't any of that
communication.
yet. So, all we do, in our capacity as trainers, is people walk around with those big headphones on, and we simply pull the earbud off, and I say to a person, "Hey, did you hear that? That was your kidney. Hey, that was your liver. Hey, that's your knee. Hey, this or that," because the problems range from people ignoring the signals. They're there. They've ignored them for long enough, and now they're taking little tiny molehills and they've grown into a big mountain, and that's a bad place to be.
Yes. I think the analogy of the headphones is basically saying, you know, let's unplug from all the distraction, and let's, again, going back full circle again, going back and listening to the body. What do you need? You know, let's not muffle all of the signals and the signs and just say, you know, how do I feel? How do I feel today?
Yeah, and you have to, and to end it on a positive note, we will, or just any note, I'll quote Mark Twain when he said, the fitness industry, he wasn't talking about the fitness industry, because it wasn't around back
So
then.
we're not quoting,
But
we're
no, I am
paraphrasing?
gonna quote him because, what you have in the industry, death by exercise, check. Massive consumption of stimulants, check. Okay, drugs, check. Okay, you have all this horse shit going on, and Mark Twain said, when you see 100 people going in one direction, maybe it's time to reevaluate your position.
Yeah, he did say that.
So
That's
think
fair.
of that the next time that you are in the gym. Take a minute, reevaluate your position, and move accordingly from there.
Agreed. I can agree with that.
I'm Ken,
I'm Jen.
and we're from the Wholistic Revolution, and we will see you guys next week.
Out.